about 9:30 a.m. and it is sunny. The weather is supposed to be really nice today, and so we're going to make the most out of it. Something I've been trying to do recently is be much more slow and intentional. I kind of accidentally did this with my reading, where I was just reading a lot slower and I didn't know why. But I realized that I really enjoyed it because it allowed me to spend much more time in the book and in the world that I was reading and just enjoy the experience a lot more rather than rushing to finish it, rushing to read the next book, rushing to get through my TBR. It just allowed me to enjoy it much more. So I'm trying to bring this into other aspects of my life, my habits and my other hobbies, and just in general. And one of the big aspects that I want to bring this into is my sketching and my creative side. So I will be sketching later on today, and I have actually drawn the base of this in a previous video, but I want to take it into my sketchbook now and start building up on it, developing not only the piece but also my skills. I will speak more about the piece itself later on, but I just want to be much more intentional, allow myself to take more time to develop it slowly, to improve my skills as I kind of go along rather than trying to rush to the end, rush to the finished product, because then I end up getting frustrated. I don't enjoy the whole process that much, and I also don't enjoy the final product because I rushed it and it wasn't that good and I would just get frustrated. So that is something I will be working on today, which I'm super excited about, and I will be doing that later on today. But for now, I'm actually going to go on a walk because the sun is out and I want to get some fresh air. And then I also have a couple of errands to run, so I will be doing that too. Okay, so I am back and I want to speak about this piece I'm working on before I start it. So essentially, I don't know if I mentioned, but this is going to be like Akatar themed, specifically about Feyre and Rysand. I've just really liked the idea of drawing something based off of something else, like being inspired by another form of creation and turning it into something else. So in this case, being inspired by a book and turning it into art. And I just think that's really fun. And it also, because I love the series so much, it's giving me another set of enjoyment. And I think the fact that I can base my creation on something is also going to help rather than purely using my imagination. I think it's a good balance between using my imagination and also having something to refer to if I need it. So I really like that. And this is the first time I'm doing something like this, so I'm super excited. I do have a rough idea of what I want it to be. Like I mentioned, it's Feyre and Rysand. It's a night view and it's based of Valaris. Now, if you haven't read the series, Feyre and Rysand are two people in the book. I don't want to spoil the series. There are two people in the book, and Valaris is a city in the book as well, and that is basically what I want to create. Like I mentioned, it's a night view. I want some ambience. I want some dark blues and glowing lights. So because of that, in my mind, I'm picturing it as more of a painting. However, I think that's something I'm going to build myself up to create, because at the moment, I think I just want to create a sketch form of it because I don't think my skills are up to the standard of being able to paint it just yet. I want to sketch it, practice that, and then at some point take it into a painting as well. But like I mentioned, we want to be slow and intentional. So I want to take each step as it comes and just enjoy the process of not only developing my skills, but also enjoying the entire thing. And I know at some point in the future, I'm going to look back at these sketches and think, wow, I've improved so much. And I want that to be a place of enjoyment and not a place of I was frustrated the entire journey, or I was irritated with myself, or I tried to rush the whole process. So I want to be much slower and just more intentional with the entire thing. That way I can enjoy it that much more. So that is the general gist of the sketch. It could be where I sketch it and I love it as that and I just leave it alone, or it might turn into the sketch that I do create today or over the next few days or however long it takes, that I then paint aspects of it and I just play around and experiment at the moment, and then I take it onto something larger when I am ready to paint. So I don't know how this is going to work or how I'm going to develop it, because this is the first time I'm really trying to do something like this, but I'm super excited to figure out what my process is, how I experiment, what I play around with. I'm definitely going to sketch it first just because that is what I'm more comfortable with. I use graphic pencils. And that is just what I'm more comfortable with at the moment, and I think that will be better for me to start this off with in my sketchbook. I did mention that I've already drawn like the base of this. I did that on Procreate on my iPad, where I just figured out where I wanted the main things to be, but I didn't go into depth or anything like that. That was just a very simple base. So I will be taking that into my sketchbook and then developing it further. I don't know where I'm going to start. I don't know whether I'm going to start with the things that are further away or the things that are more prominent. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and figure it out as I go along and just see what works and what doesn't. And this is definitely going to be experiment this is going to be an experiment. I'm going to play around with it and I'm going to figure it out as I go along and just enjoy that entire process of it. Another aspect is I know my skills are not up to the point of where I want them to be or what I can envision the painting to be. Like, I cannot get to that point just yet. And so rather than getting frustrated with myself for not being there yet or trying to rush it, I just want to enjoy where I am. Even if that only means I get to draw like a corner of it today before I get frustrated, then so be it. And then I'll stop and I'll pick it up either later on or another day. My biggest priority is to maintain the enjoyment of it. Yes, I'm still progressing and practicing and playing around and experimenting, but it's to maintain the enjoyment that I have been getting from drawing, and I want to keep that rather than trying to rush it or getting frustrated with myself because my skills aren't developing. I just want to enjoy it. So like I said, if that means I only sketch like a tiny portion today and it takes me months to do just the first sketch, so be it. I just want to take this at a pace that I enjoy and a pace that allows me to experiment and enjoy it without getting irritated with myself or agitated with sketching, because then I will just stop, which is what I did last year, where I just stopped and I'm only now picking it back up. So I don't want that to happen again. I want it to be consistent for me to draw, and I think the only way that I can do that is if I maintain the enjoyment aspect of it rather than trying to push myself too much or overdo it. I am definitely nervous, but I also feel very excited because I haven't done this in ages. I haven't had this enjoyment or this excitement from drawing in so long. And so I think because it is based in a book series that I love, with characters that I love, with a city that I really enjoy, and it's kind of the first book series that got me back into reading, or it's the second series, but like it's the main one that got me back into reading and just enjoying other people's art forms, and it's allowing me to explore my own again. So I'm really, really excited for it. I'm also quite nervous because I don't want to get stuck in a point where I overdo it, overanalyze, critique myself too much, get frustrated, agitated. So I am nervous that that might happen again because it's happened so many times before, which I've done to myself so many times before. So I am nervous that that is going to happen again, but I just want to be mindful and intentional. And when I catch myself getting frustrated or annoyed, I just stop. I pick it up at another point, I take a break, whatever it may be, whether it means I Google how to sketch something or I just practice on a different piece of paper, whatever it may be, just be much more intentional, slow, and mindful about the whole thing, because I think that will allow me to enjoy it so much more. And this is an entirely new chapter of my artistic journey because I just feel this excitement for it again, and it could be the season because I definitely picked this hobby up in spring and summer, but I'm hoping I will continue it into autumn and winter because I do enjoy it so much. And I'm hoping if I manage to maintain this enjoyment rather than the frustration, that I can keep it going for basically my life, even if it's only a little sketch every week and then other weeks or months I'm sketching on a larger scale. I just want it to be part of my life again, and I think this is the start of that. So I'm very, very excited for that. Now, I have been thinking about what I want to listen to when I sketch, because at first I thought I wouldn't listen to any music, but I do want to. And what I decided to do is actually listen to the audio form of the second book in the ACOTAR series, so A Court of Mist and Fury, because that's the one that really, I think that's my favorite book in the series. A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin, the second and third books are my favorite in the series. So I got the audio for the second book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury, and I want to listen to that whilst I draw this. I'll probably skip the first few chapters until we get into the main bit when we're in the city with the characters that I love. And I think that will just really help me get into the zone, really experience the whole thing whilst I'm painting. And I think it will really help me to create this piece. So I'm super, super excited to do so. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. It's fine, and I can pick it up and I can try again. And it will just be the start of my journey. It will be something that I can build up on and develop as I go along rather than getting frustrated. But I'm so excited. I'm also going to be doing this in the garden because it's sunny outside and I want to enjoy the weather. So let's go and set it up. The first thing I did was recreate the base on my sketchbook using the lightest pencil that I had. Once I had this set up, I also had my Pinterest references that I saved previously available for me to have a look at if I wanted to. These are just ones that highlight some of the key things I want to include in this piece in case I need it as a reminder or as a bit of inspiration. I then started to go in and detail up some of the space, just giving it more depth and more shape. So it's been a few hours, and I thought I would show you what equipment I'm using before we get into some of the other updates. So, firstly, I have an A4 sketchbook. Then I have these graphic pencils. So, there are how many? Seven. There are seven graphic pencils in here. And there's also a sharpener. Sorry, there's also some erasers. It's actually one eraser. I just snapped it into like three separate parts. So those are the graphic pencils that I use. And then I have my iPad, which has Procreate, which is where I did the original base on. And I also used Pinterest on here for my references. And this is also where I listened to the audio version of A Court of Mist and Fury. Finally, I have this easel. So it's not a wooden easel. It's actually, I think, metal, and you can unlock these so that it reaches the floor and you can kind of use it when you're standing. And then also, I like to use it on my desk in this shorter form, which has been really fun, either on a desk or a table, which has been really useful and really enjoyable to use. And I'm definitely going to be using this more often. I think I used it in my previous video on my desk. So I remembered that I enjoyed it last week. So I decided to do that again this week. And I'm definitely going to keep that up because it was so fun, so much more comfortable as well for some reason. I guess because you're looking more straight rather than down. I do think I might need to rise it a little bit because I was looking slightly down, but it's definitely more comfortable than it being straight flat on the table. So this was really fun. So those were all of the equipment that I used. Now, I really enjoyed listening to the audio whilst I was doing this. It helped me completely get into the zone. It helped me remember what I thought and felt when I was reading the book for the first time. And it just helped me get into that space where I could focus on the piece. I think if I listened to other type of music or different audio or anything else, it might have taken me out a little bit. This has really just put me into this book and this world, which really helped. And it helped me, I guess, envision what I wanted to create and what I wanted to feel whilst I was drawing. So that definitely helped, and I'm going to keep that up, not only for this piece, but any pieces that I do in the future that are based on a book or a series. I will try my best to get the audio version of it just because I really think it helped with the experience of drawing it, and it just helped me enjoy it a lot more and really just get into that zone and into that mindset for the piece. So once I drew the base onto my sketchbook, I kind of didn't know where to start and what to start with in terms of developing it further. And then I decided that there is like this branch archway that kind of frames the image, and I started with that just because I think it was the thing that was most prominent, and so I kind of wanted to tackle it. And I was really stuck with how to start this. So I ended up looking for reference images on Pinterest, and I found a couple of like branch archways to kind of focus off of. And there were also some trees nearby where I was sketching that kind of had a similar branch and leaves that I could base my drawing off of. So that was really good to have those references, especially to have references in front of me that I could base off of. I definitely think that helped a lot. So that was something I'm going to keep in mind in the future, that I need to try as much as possible to look for things that are actually in front of me, because I think that helped much more than the images did. As much as the images helped as references, it wasn't as helpful as the tree that I could see already in front of me that I could draw from, basically. Now, I have mixed emotions about this. Firstly, it is definitely starting to take shape, and I'm definitely starting to add in more detail and depth to it. However, I do question if whether I'm drawing on too small a scale. This is A4, and what I'm drawing actually has a lot of elements to it. And so when I'm having to draw these things, it's going to have to be very small and detailed. Whereas if it was on a larger scale, I could do it in obviously larger drawings and it wouldn't be so small. So I think that's something I need to keep in mind. I do actually have an A3 sketchbook, so it's something I could take into that maybe at a later stage, but I need to be mindful of when I'm drawing on A4 to maybe not do a piece with so many different elements, maybe just do parts of it to practice. So I think that's something I definitely realize, that perhaps it's too small to draw all of these different elements. Right now it's okay because I'm drawing things that are more at the forefront. But when I get to things that are further away, it's going to become more and more difficult because there are going to be a lot of aspects that I want to fit into a small space. So that's something that is not frustrating me, but it's something that I've been made aware of from doing this. I am going to stop it for today because I think if I go any further, I'm going to get frustrated because I'm kind of getting a bit tired now. And I just don't want to, as I said before, I want to be intentional. And even if that means it's a lot slower, then so be it. So I can pick this up another day. But I'm definitely glad that I started it and that I'm starting to kind of let go of it needing to be perfect from the start and allowing myself to just try it and experiment and figure things out as I go along. So I will be continuing it in my A4 for this piece, and maybe in the future I'll bring it into something bigger and see how I feel in terms of the difference between A4 and A3 with the same drawing just on different sizes. That's something I might want to do in the future, but for now I will continue with A4 for this piece over the next maybe couple of weeks. We'll see how long it takes to get there. I do actually have a reading update. So I'm currently reading 2 books. So I'm reading Heir of Fire, which I've actually been reading for a while. As I mentioned, these slow and intentional habits actually started from reading, and specifically reading this book. I was just a lot slower with reading it, and I'm enjoying it a lot more because I'm allowing myself to be in this world for much longer. But this is one of the books that I'm reading, and I'm really enjoying it so far. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of characters, a lot of things happening in parallel, but I'm still very much enjoying it. This is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series, which I'm slowly making my way through. And the second book is actually a self-development book called You Have the Magic. Now, I don't read self-development as often as I used to. I used to only read self-development, and then I didn't read it at all. Now I only read a book here and there, ones that I really want to read. This is by Haley Hoffman Smith, who talks a lot about subconscious beliefs and working on that, and kind of like visualization and manifestation. And I have followed her for a very long time. So I wanted to get her book because it just came out. So I started this morning. I haven't got too far into it. It's definitely the intro, but I am enjoying it so far. It also kind of feels like a biography, the way that she's written it, which I love. I love biographies. I think the way that I like self-development books is when they're written as a biography. That's when I enjoy them most. So I am enjoying this one so far as well. So I did do that scrapbooking, and as I was flicking through the pages, I realized that I actually really liked the pages at the start. So I didn't try and adjust or change them because I really liked them. What I did instead was actually update and add a couple of pages. So the first one I added is my May TBR, so it's the books that I want to read this month. If you want to know more about that, then check out my Instagram because I made a reel on my May TBR and I post more day-to-day things on there as well, so make sure to check that out. And then on the other side, I just did more of a journal entry kind of about the day, about some of my favorite books and the drawings that I'm working on. And I realized that the pages that I want to update the most are actually the pages at the end, where I've essentially list the book series that I've read or I'm currently reading. And the pages just feel a bit bland. So I added a few stickers and things. And I think at some point in the future, I will add pictures of the books in the list at the base. And I think that will help these. That is the update on the scrapbook. Today has been so nice. I managed to fit in all of my hobbies, reading, drawing, and journaling slash scrapbooking, and the weather was perfect for it. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to bring in this intentionality more with me as I continue because I think it just helped me enjoy the process so much more. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and this is a video that is most recommended to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!